Hey, it's Syd with Table Talk with Syd. I'm going to do a raw version of a podcast today with my guest, Nichole. And we're going to toss around the subject of setting goals, how to achieve goals, and how to maneuver your life and your outlook to accomplish these goals. But the reason I'm excited to have Nichole with me today is because she is that everyday woman that's supporting her family, out working, a mother, raising children, wanting different in her life, and finding ways to recreate herself right now. And so we decided to chat about goal setting. And Nichole, you had brought up the fact that, for example, at the gym, right? There's like 2 trillion people. So I'd like your outlook on goals, why so many fail to achieve goals, and what it is, maybe in your terms of what kind of information that everyday person could receive to help them become more effective in whether it's achieving goals, whether it's just living a different type of life, whether it is renewal, whatever those things are.
Yeah, it's interesting. First of every year, everyone says, "Okay, it's a new year, new me, new life." Even though the only thing that's really changed is the calendar, and I find it very interesting that at the beginning of every year, everyone has to set these goals. And so recently, I've seen lots of people saying, I need to drink more water, lose weight, go to the gym, which are all things that should be part of our life every day, regardless if it's January 1st or April 10th. I mean, it should be something that we live for. And, as you drive by the gym in January, you see that the gym is totally, completely packed. Mm-hmm. Every morning as I'm going to drop the kids off, people are struggling to try and find parking spaces, Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because by the time the end of the month comes around, those people that struggled to find those parking spaces that were the ones that were going all the time,
they will have given up because there's just not enough parking spaces.
And so I find it extremely ironic in the fact that why does it have to be January 1st that everyone does all this?
Right. Well, it is interesting because for myself, I'm really grateful for that opportunity to start again, the opportunity to recreate all of those things. So probably in some sense, I think a lot of people see it as that. But, if we're talking about goals, there are reasons why many people do not achieve the goals that they want or set in their life. Number one, I just did a thought of the day today actually on this. So, if you talk to many individuals who are successful in whatever form, but they're successful, they will tell you to write things down, to post things, to put them up, make pictures, blah, blah, blah. Because the reason I did my thought of the day on this today is because people hear it, but I don't think a lot of people understand why. And the reason is, if you take an individual that was brought up in poverty, typically, not always, but typically, they'll remain in poverty. Middle class, they'll remain in middle class. Wealth, they'll remain in wealth. It is not because someone is loved by God, life, and the universe more. It's not because someone's more gifted than someone else. It is absolutely because the soul relates to what it sees on a regular basis. And when it begins to relate with it, it means it's comfortable with it, it has some ownership in it, and it's familiar. So if you want different, if there's a certain thing you want, whatever those things are, by writing them down and not just posting them one place. Let's just hypothetically say it's building a home. You want to build not just a home, but like your dream home this year. And a lot of people would start off the year going, but my dream home is too expensive for what I can afford. it would take the kind of property that I can't really get my hands on. They'll tell you all the reasons. But the steps to getting there would be to go and take pictures off the internet or wherever you want of the type of home you want, the interior. Do you love, what kind of wood floors, what kind of cabinetry, what kind of lighting, all of these things. And then you're not just going to post them in your room. You're going to post them at your office. You're going to post them in your locker. You're going to post them in your car. Because the things that you see the most are the things your soul becomes accustomed to and comfortable with. Once your soul becomes accustomed to or comfortable with something, you then begin, it sort of like tosses around in your mind, okay? Once it seeps out of your lips, your soul and yourself now have ownership in it. Because it doesn't just seep out by accident. You had to actually, configure it, whatever, good, bad, or otherwise, in your head. Then it seeps out, and so now that's a belief. Once you have a belief, your soul now must do what it has to do to fulfill the belief. So if you're looking to accomplish certain things, just wanting to work out isn't going to be enough, okay? You have to decide, okay, I want to be healthy. Maybe someone needs to bring down their cholesterol. Maybe someone wants to lose some inches. But you can't just say, I want to lose some inches. You need to be clear on how many inches. Then we have to go a little further. And you can take pictures of maybe a woman or a man who you see the progression of them losing a certain amount of inches. So you can see this right up on your board. Mm-hmm. And then how long it took them to do that. And then below that, maybe you have a write-up of what you're going to do at each stage to continue that, so that the mind and soul have something that they become accustomed to, something that they're committing to, and something they have ownership in. And you would find more of those people at the gym would remain at the gym because they're in a quote-unquote personal program, right?
Well, they're becoming aware.
That's right.
That's the awareness.
But most of those people are aimlessly, because I kind of laugh at this, because majority of them don't understand that they're getting in the car, okay? But and they have enough of a goal to get themselves to the gym, which is amazing, because you look at a lot of people, they wander around the world. No building, no home, no grocery store, nothing. No car would ever be built without blueprints, right? Having a goal, having an outlook on what you want to do, and then if something's not right, you go alter it. But you look at majority of people in the world, they are aimlessly wandering around the world. No blueprints, no idea of what they're doing or where they're going, and then they're absolutely amazed that they aren't getting anywhere. They're not accomplishing anything. Life is not rolling around the way they want it, but in actuality, if you look at it, life is actually rolling around exactly how you've planned it. It is a disaster. It is everywhere. It has no meaning. You don't know what the crap you're doing because you have created it by your behavior and actions of roaming the world with no blueprint. So I'm interested in hearing from you, though, Nichole, from the standpoint of a woman right now who's in the process of change within yourself, within your marriage, within your children. What areas, what are you doing to make those changes, and what areas do you have some hiccups in?
Yeah, so interesting that you kind of bring that up, because you said once you end up saying something, it becomes more of that reality. Mm-hmm. And the more you think it, breathe it, live it, it becomes part of you. Mm-hmm. So I think this is actually a really great example. Last December, so this would have been December of 2015, I was unhappy with my job.
Okay.
And I had the opportunity to go back to my previous company. It was actually going to be a step down.
Okay.
Which, I had a hard time with, but I thought, I want to be happy. I can't keep doing what I'm doing because it's not working for me.
Right.
So the opportunity came up, and I was able to go back to my job. During the interview, one of the things I said was, look, I know this is only going to be a temporary position for me. I definitely want to move up within the company. and I eventually want to be like an assistant manager or a manager.
Okay.
So about 4 months later, the opportunity was presented where they had a spot open for a manager. Unfortunately, because my tenure there was only so short, even though I had all the qualifications, they opted not to offer it to me.
Okay.
I ended up saying, okay, that's fine, but I will make this happen. Kept saying I will make this happen. Then in November of 2016, opportunity came up again. They redid some of the qualifications, and I ended up getting promoted in just a 9-month period of time.
Wow.
So I bring that up because when I started back, I said, I don't want to be in this position for very long. I made it happen. And during...
But do you know how you made it happen? Can you give like detail? I know how you made it happen.
Yeah, because I made it happen because I knew what I wanted. I specifically every day went in and did things that would help me move forward.
So that's very good, because I want to point out to the listener, many people get confused on how to create. Most people are focused on what they don't want. For example, I don't want to be in this position for very long. I don't want to be here. I don't want to sit at this desk. I don't want this job. Well, what you did was say, I don't want to be in this position for very long, so this is what I'm focusing on. This is what I need to do. This is what I can do. This is what I'm excited to do, to create different, to help things to move along to where I want them to be. Your focus started becoming on what you want opposed to what you don't want. And that's a real important thing for majority of people, because people live backwards for the most part. It's only because society was taught to live this way. They wonder why they don't live the life they want, yet the habit is on focusing on what they don't want. And you can't create what you want focused on what you don't want. So go ahead.
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%, because up until that time, when I was at the previous company, I kept focusing that I don't want to be here, I hate it here, I was miserable, and I was eating, breathing negativity day in and day out. Not only was it making life difficult at work, it was making things difficult at home.
Right.
And once I finally decided to change my outlook, my view, and my attitude, that's when things started happening.
Do you feel with your marriage, okay, has that been something you've been able to implement into your marriage?
Yes. The interesting part is I am a firm believer that, and I think it might go back to the book The Secret,
Okay.
that what you put out there is what you get. That's
Correct.
kind of what the philosophy of The Secret is. I was at a point in my marriage that I was not really happy, and so I kind of put it out there that I wanted out. Well, guess what happened?
Things started moving you out.
Things started moving in the way of
getting
out. Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So then what did you do emotionally and spiritually to alter that?
I had to change my thinking.
Okay, and what is that? What did you start to do? Like, because clarity is everything. Remember, majority of people, and it's mind-boggling to me, live life based upon what they don't want, thinking that's going to get them what they want. So obviously, you began to talk about it within yourself first, because remember, what you toss around within your head becomes this thing that you're giving ownership to, right? You're giving a relationship to. When it finally leaks from your lips, it is because you and your soul have come to the realization and an agreement that you support it somehow, you believe in it somehow, and you have ownership in it somehow. And so when something leaks from your lips, now your soul goes, okay, I need to do whatever steps it takes to fulfill that, because we own it now. We've already agreed for a long time in our head that we agree and we own it. Now I have to do what it takes to fulfill it. So in order to change that, whatever is now leaking from your lips, has to be something different, which is, all right, I don't want out. I want in. How do I stay in? I want to show more love. I want to be a bit more patient. I want to be inspired about where I am and who I'm with. And I want to be excited about my children, my husband, my life, my existence. And this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to start talking about the greatness that I have, talking about how much I love my husband, talking about how grateful I am that we have had our hiccups, but it has pushed us to find gratitude for one another. By doing that, that is how come were able, and I know you know this, but I want them to know this, that this is how come you've been able to alter the direction in which the marriage was going, because again, your soul has to fulfill whatever the commitment is that has leaked from your lips. Would you agree?
Oh, definitely. Within the last, I would say about, well, since the turning point really for me was probably in November
Of 2016.
of 2016. Yes.
And when you had that turning point, what was going on that made you go, oh, okay, I get it?
I had a conversation with myself.
But were you pushed to a stress point? Were you know what I'm saying?
I just stopped and looked around and said, oh shit, how did I get here? Mm-hmm. And went, this is not me. This is not what I want. And said, something has to change.
So when you made this change, how long did it take for you to see a similar change within your husband?
So I would probably say that the thoughts were there previously to November, but once I actually started thinking more and kind of verbalizing it to myself, it was a couple of weeks. Our anniversary is in November, so it was November 18th, and which he totally completely shocked me, because remember, up until this time we were unsure of our relationship, and we celebrated our 11th year anniversary, and he presented me with a new wedding ring.
Wow. I was looking at the ring thinking, I don't know that I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Very nice. So you started, within a couple weeks, you started seeing a change within his behavior.
Yes.
Towards you.
Yes.
Now I'm going to, and I've given this before, but I'm going to give it again. So if you can envision you standing in an apartment in New York on the west side, and on the east side, right across the alley, stands your husband in another apartment complex, and you're at the same level, and there's a clothing line that's going from window to window. And Nichole has been putting out all these red clothing, from shirts to pants to everything. Everything's red, red, red. And so your husband over there for years has been receiving red something. He's very accustomed to red. This is what she does. This is how she behaves. He's accepted it, whether he likes it or not, because I'm sure he'd probably like a different color coming to him, but that's okay. Whether he likes it or not, he's getting red. Well, one day, Nichole goes, you know what? I'm tired of sending red over. I now want to send blue. So you put a blue t-shirt up and you push the clothesline. He doesn't receive blue yet, because it's still red all the way over. So then you're going to have to put up another pair of pants that are blue. Push the clothesline. He still doesn't get it. So you're going to have to put up blue several times. By the time he reaches blue, you've put up blue a lot of times. And a lot of people are like, well, what the crap? I have put up blue time and time again. And this person is showing no feedback, no change, no, hey, I see that you're doing different. Well, it's because they haven't really gotten it yet. So then when he receives his first blue t-shirt, he will say, that's weird, that's blue, must have been a mistake. Gets the second one, oh, weird, that's blue too. She's gone a little crazy, because that has to be a mistake. Usually about the fifth or eighth thing, he will go, oh, maybe she's changing her ways. Maybe she's doing different. So now he's just going to have to take time to consider that you're doing different. More blue is coming through. Finally, after, let's say, the 20th t-shirt of blue, he goes, oh, maybe she emotionally and spiritually has changed. So now maybe I'm willing to participate because I'm seeing a change within her. And really that's what's happened is it may have taken you 2 weeks. Some people it might take 2 months, right? Depends on the situation. But by you changing the color of clothing that you've been sending him for years and months or however long, by doing that and staying patient and by continuing to send that same color of clothing, it took him 2 weeks, 14 days, but he finally went, huh, strange. She's sending me blue now. Okay, I'll reciprocate. And now things are blooming again because of simply your outlook. You, not his, your outlook on what you want instead of what you don't
want. Yep.
Isn't that brilliant? I do love life. You know, it's so incredible because we all have more control in our life than we think. We have more ability to create what we want in life than we believe we do. And life, God, and the universe puts us in the driver's seat more often than we would ever know. And the reason being is because point of view is everything. Point of view is everything. In fact, before we end, I'm going to tell you a little story. This morning I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about one of the biggest pop stars that's ever hit our culture, hit the airwaves. And she had said that she's very frustrated because she feels like she's been held down for years. Okay? Now, mind you, she's worth well over 100 million. Okay? She obviously lives a fantastic life. She has children. She's doing what she wants to do. But point of view is everything. So the point of view she's chosen to own is everything I'm not getting, everything I didn't want, everything that has frustrated me. And now my point of view is look at how I've been held down. Look at how I haven't been able to be who I want to be or become what I want to become. Well, if you take a step back, and I have to breathe over these kind of things, because that's a bunch of crap. Because if you take a step back and help her to alter her point of view, look at how long your career has been successful. Not just successful, lucrative, successful. Look at the freedoms you've had in the ability to raise your children any way you want because you have the financial freedom to do so. Look at the kind of career you have and the people you've met and the world, the amount of things in the world you've seen, the places you've traveled from. I mean, I can go on and on. If she were to take a step back and look at that, there's no room for downfall. There's only room for everything that she has accomplished, everything that the freedoms and the things that she has. And so outlook is 100% one of the most powerful things we give ourselves. It is the ability to alter our future, our now, all that we want to become. It is our ability to own our life the way we choose to own it. And it is our freedom to help create the life for our children, the life for ourselves, create the marriage we want, all based upon outlook we choose. That's life, God, and the universe, putting the power within us to own our life. No one else owns our life. And it starts with point of view.
And part of that goes back to the goals. You know, make it a goal to change your point of view, even if it's a little bit every single day.
Right.
And you will start to see how things change around you.
Yeah, it's crazy. And you're a perfect example. You're that everyday woman out in the world with everyday things. You know, I was talking to actually another person about point of view. And she was telling me how her son, who's had addiction problems and blah, 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 and been through a couple of divorces, how hard his life has been. And I said to her, just take a moment. All that's been going on with him is he's living life. It's called the actions of living life. And I said, Yeah, he's had some hiccups, just like everybody else has. He's had some downfalls, just like everybody else has. He is no more a victim than anybody else. In fact, if you dig into his life, you will find he's been given a golden life. Now, he's made some poor choices within his golden life, but he's been given a golden life. You couldn't ask for a better family, a better support system, more love within that family. He's been given everything, health to career, all these things. He's been given a golden life. The only hiccup here is the point of view that he's chosen to own and the point of view that you as his mother has chosen to own. Because when you own that point of view with him, what you're saying is, let me help you be more of a victim. Instead of, let me help you to be the brilliant man that you are by looking at the good, what is great. And that is absolutely, like you said, goal setting. We need to build that within us to have that be a goal, that we start looking for the good, that we start finding the stepping stones to get us to where we say we want to be, that we start celebrating the things we have and having gratitude and grace for the things, even the opportunity to have downfall. Because look at what downfall did for you. Mm-hmm. It was one of the most brilliant gifts it gave you, right?
Yes.
That hiccup of downfall of what I don't want, what I can't have, really gifted you with the opportunity to truly feel gratitude and grace for what you do have and what you do want. Okay, so as we end this, remember in your day you will fall down. Stand up, brush off, and move on. Talk to you